It's a miracle that you're even alive, said my best friend. He happens to be a doctor of mathematics and medicine, and he knows a little bit about probabilities. So he's also the world's leading expert on me. I'm so lucky to be standing here today in front of you, just to be standing. Tim Cook said, life is fragile. We are not guaranteed a tomorrow, so give it out everything you've got. Today, I'm giving you everything I've got. My grandmother raised me. I call her Mommy. I really thought that she was my mother. Mommy grew up during World War II. Manila was occupied, and she's the only person I know that would talk about the Japanese soldiers very kindly. I mean, she would smile, she would beam when she would talk about them. You see, she was 7 years old, and at 7, she looked like a little Japanese girl. Almond eyes, black hair, kawaii, ne? During a time of scarcity and hunger, she managed to tend a garden, and she grew kangkong, sweet potatoes, and other crops. Now, she used some of these crops to trade for protein fish heads. You see, my grandmother, she made the most awesome sinigang. And I think she got her skills during this time of making sinigang. Also during wartime, the grown-ups, my grandparents, could not leave the house. My great-grandmother was the daughter of a Spanish friar, so she, had that Castilian look. Mommy was the boss. She was at 7 years old on throughout the war. She took care of everyone. In fact, Mommy is still the boss. She took me in, and one day at 3 years old, I had a super high fever. My right leg was completely paralyzed. Her story, what she told everyone, was that she took me to a neighborhood doctor, and he gave an injection, and it hit a nerve. And so this is the story that I know. When I had turned 5 years old, I learned a new word, tigdas, measles, which I also caught. 6, mumps. I noticed something. She never took me to doctors during this time, right? When I was doing my research for this project, when I turned 8, Mommy left. She migrated to Hawaii. So I was moved to Olongapo, and I learned that whom I thought was my sister is actually my real mother. So my life changed drastically. All of these childhood illnesses were forgotten. In the late 1970s, the polio vaccine was widely available. Polio, for those of you who don't know, I just learned that people had totally forgotten about polio. It causes paralysis and sometimes death. Measles is deadlier. It is highly contagious, and especially with young children, it can cause death. In a study commissioned by the World Health Organization from 1974 to 2024, they estimate that 154 million children were saved by vaccines. Who here among you is vaccinated? Raise your hand. Come on, don't be shy. Congratulations. So it's really crazy because it has changed the way it is. Apart from drinking water, it's the second most important innovation in medicine. Childhood vaccines. I'm not a vaccine expert. Infant mortality dropped by 40%. Average life expectancy rose by 20 years. I mean, that 154 million souls, that might be one of you, right? That didn't get sick and suffer. Let's fast forward. When I grew up, I'm still not grown up really, but when I grew up, I had a son, and my firstborn son is autistic. His mom, to this day, blames vaccines. I had 2 more children. I was blessed with 2 more children with another mother. And the difference was she grew up in California, where mandatory vaccines are required, right? There's a law. So I got to hold down the kids while they're squirming, crying, and they're getting the shot, but she was the one that made sure that appointments were made. See, in 1998, another study at the Lancet linked the MMR vaccine to autism. Now, it took a while for them to correct it. It was a mistaken study. It's not even a study, it's a case report. The doctor who led the study, Andrew Wakefield, he was debunked by multiple researchers and scientists. The report was retracted. Andrew Wakefield is now known forever as a doctor who fooled the world. Growing up with all of these ailments did not make me immune, did not make me unbreakable. I was a very, very angry kid. When I turned 13, I quit school and I started doing drugs, but that's a long story, not for this talk. It took a while. It took a very long time for me to process and to forgive. Someone said, forgiving is not forgetting. It is remembering without the pain. I forgave mommy, my grandmother. I forgave my father. And I even forgave myself. In 2016, I went to seek out, to really confirm, because the story never changed. I went to doctors, and doctors in Guam and in the Philippines confirmed what I had suspected, that it was polio. A couple of years later, I go to Honolulu, and on a layover, I tell mommy what I found, and she whispered, ayoko kasing masaktan ka ng karayom. I didn't want the needle to hurt you. I told her I love her, and I was glad to finally hear the truth. COVID happened, right? And it was almost weird, but it was fortunate in a way that, for her at least, because I would have been so deathly worried, she passed away 10 months after our meeting in 2018. So I didn't get to see her again. This is the last selfie I had with mommy. Yeah. And as you can see, this was after she told me, and it really, I think I unburdened her soul. Why I'm up here is to understand what the flood of disinformation, misinformation about vaccines. And I get it. You know, I think about all of the mommies everywhere. Questioning is normal. Questioning is natural. Question also the sources where you're getting your stories from. Is it evidence-based data, or are they just stories? I didn't get vaccinated, and I am a polio survivor. And I don't believe in a future where polio makes a comeback. Measles outbreaks are regularly happening now all over the world. I don't like that. I don't want more kids to suffer. Some people, they talk about it that, you know, I love my kids, so I'm not going to get them that. But here's the thing. You don't have to choose between love or science. You can have both. Love and be informed, and choose both. Piliin po natin ang pareho. Pagmamahal at siyensya. Let's choose both love and science. Thank you for letting me share my humble journey. And thank you for letting me make cuento.